So I feel like you've talked about this before, but it has just skyrocketed when it comes to anxiety, from 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Do you have some of those stats off of the top of your head, of like how much worse it's gotten, and what can we do to help these kids who are feeling social anxiety? And even though we think maybe there's some exaggeration, maybe think they're self-diagnosing, there's definitely still some truth and warranted to these feelings. But what's your
I don't think it's it's not that they're making it. I just think that we're pathologizing anxiety or angst, as opposed to saying, you know what? I mean, I'm the eternal optimist. So when I say this, I want to make sure it comes out. But, part of being a teenager, there are emotions that come out with that. And I think now what's happening is we're giving it a label, as opposed to, yeah, it's that social awkwardness. I'm getting comfortable in my body. I think everyone's staring at me with social media. Everyone may be staring at you. So I think it's really a matter of, again, I'm not a big proponent or fan of labels per se, but that's why this term distress I like using, because distress can be sadness, it could be anxiety, it could be worry, it could be fear, it could be anger, whatever it is, and helping your child understand like what puts them on a higher level and what can they do, problem focused and emotion focused, I'll explain that in a sec, to reduce that number. Problem focused is changing the problem itself, emotion focused is changing your emotional reaction to it. If your child is stressed out because of all the homework, right? One of the things they can do is problem focus, like break it down, help them learn how to break it down. Ask those questions where they're figuring that out. That's changing the problem. But the emotion focus is saying, if you're really stressed out, I don't know about a math test, what are you saying to yourself? I have to do well, or else I'm never going to get into college, which means I'm never going to, get a good job, which means I'm going to be miserable for the rest of my life. Like this is literally what our kids are thinking. So if you can help them verbalize that, I mean, a lot of times just in sessions when I have my young people like say that out loud, they chuckle. And I'm like, why are you laughing? And they're like, well, because, it's so obvious it's not true. How you do on this math test is not going to determine the rest of your life. It is important to study. It is important to try, but kind of helping them realize what are they saying to themselves that could be contributing to it. So that's more the emotion focus, changing their emotional reaction, as opposed to the problem focus. What can you do?
I love that.
And really setting goals. I mean, I have a client right now, and he's in his late teens and is very wants to date, but is very concerned about being rejected. And so we just changed the definition of what a win is. A win is him talking to a girl. Yeah. A win is him even asking someone who is interested in asking them out. Whether they say yes or no is not the win. The win is doing it. It's putting themselves out there. And so kind of reframing that for him. He's an athlete. He's super competitive. So like that resonated with him. So really helping your kiddos. It's a lot of it is about how are they interpreting what's happening and helping them make sure if that works for instead of against them.
Yeah, getting used. And I think that's such a great tool for everything in life, is getting used to rejection, or what people are going to think about you that's negative, and all these things of like, yeah, get used to that. The more you can get good at that, the more you're going to be able to use that as a superpower to keep going when other people quit.
Yeah.